Hey guys, how is everybody? Welcome along to the Barbecue Talk Show. My name's Matt.
And my name's Ryan. All good to be back up and running again. Today we have Russ from the Rusty BBQ Company to come along and talk about his lovely rubs,
sauces, and everything cute.
So
should be a good one. I'm really looking forward to it. Russ has been a supporter of the show since day dot, so it's been good. We've done loads of stuff with him, and we can't rave enough about his rubs. I love the stuff, especially the chip rub, my favourite. He's giggling away in the green room. There's a good story behind that one, and I'm sure we'll cover it when we're in the show. If you want to sample some of Russ's rubs, go check out the website where we've got discount code on there. Go hit it up. Definitely worth it. You won't regret buying those. 100%. So let's stop rambling. Should we get him in and have a chat?
Let's get to it, I reckon, Matt. Let's just jump straight in there.
Let's get ready to rumble. Like that. Russ, how you doing, mate?
Evening all. How do?
How you doing, brother?
Yeah.
Not bad, mate. Not bad. I'm good.
Good. Living the dream.
Busy? Yeah, always living the dream here.
Flying.
Busy, probably an understatement of the year, to be fair. I think we kind of bitten off a hefty chunk this year. We've seen a massive growth in the business this year. I think COVID has had a massive impact.
He's got a ghost. A bit delayed. I'm going to turn that off.
Don't mind me.
You're not having much luck today, are you, mate? You've had a real clanger.
That's better days, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm sure,
Chat amongst yourselves for a second.
It's going to be one of those nights.
It's picked up, isn't it? The business. It's going from leaps to bounds.
Yeah, it's gone crazy. I mean, we've seen a 350% increase in sales this year, and I think a massive part of that is really kind of starting to plug social media. It's amazing the impact that has. But also lockdown, mate. It's been a strange one for everybody, and I think back in the early 100%. Days, we certainly noticed it that when people were stuck in their houses, all they were doing was barbecuing. You can get meat delivered from the butchers direct to your door. You can get rubs delivered online now. So we just went crazy. It's good. It's really, really good. But it's been a really busy year, a positive year, massive leap forward for us. But I'm looking forward to getting to Christmas and taking a deep breath and stopping for 5 minutes with a bit of luck.
Yeah, having a bit of downtime here over Christmas.
Yeah, just taking it easy. Got no real plans, to be fair. A bit of family time. I've got kids, so it's spending time with the kids, to be fair.
Yeah, well deserved as well, mate. Definitely well deserved. Yeah, so let's jump into some questions then, because that's what you're really here for. First memory of cooking over flames, barbecue, grilling, whatever,
I've always loved food. Yeah, I've always loved food, always kind of been around food. And I kind of toyed with the idea when I was younger of going into kind of the commercial route, into chefing and going off to catering college. But I think I kind of took a look at the hours and thought, shit, no, not on a Friday, Saturday night, all the evenings, the long hours, the prep and things like that. And I think as a youngster, I kind of decided to take the easier route, shall we say, and kind of strayed away from it. But my first kind of fire experience was, it was a girl I was seeing, and her dad was really into barbecuing, and he would literally get his little gas grill out every single night and fire things up. And it was that kind of al fresco side of things, the cooking outside, that kind of I thought, you know what, I really enjoy this. And then you grow up a little bit and you start getting your own house and getting a bit of money, so you start buying your own equipment, and it's kind of gone from there, really. So it's like most people, started off really, really poor, bad sausages, burgers that were more like frisbees, and the odd kebab that was just tasteless and horrible. And just kind of went from there, really. I mean, I didn't really get into the whole charcoal side of things and what I call proper fire until a little bit sort of later on, when I was old enough to start exploring a little bit more myself, and kind of went into it that way, really.
Fair enough. So, yeah, go on, Ryan, carry on.
Okay, sorry, mate. I was just sort of like trying to get me my mojo back into place. So, what's your what's your go-to pit at home, or how many pits do you have while you're at home? And more to the point, what you're drinking as well. I've just got a Magnus. I was going to get some of them. I was so tempted.
I'm a massive IPA fan, and this summer it's been my go-to drink, which I'll talk a little bit about that in a bit in one of the rubs that we brought out that's kind of centered around the whole IPA drink. So, yeah, but just nice and easy drinking tonight. May hit the wine. Let's see how it goes. Yeah,
well, we might amp it up in a little while.
I'm on the rocket fuel.
Oh God!
It's normally a little bit later in the evening. The show, and I tend to need the rocket fuel because it's just a bit. I think come Friday, normally my batteries are quite flat. Let's put it that way. I don't know what happened last week. Last week, someone must have chucked cocaine in my drink because I was fucking high as a kite. No idea what was going on. Even Ryan was scared.
It's a high energy show last week.
Oh, it was.
That, mate. I don't know.
Definitely. I turned it off after 10 minutes of reviewing it.
Was it politically correct? Were you allowed to actually broadcast this one?
No, there's no political. We don't do politically correct on this show. It was all over the shop. It was a good show. Let's put it that way. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it again. Shameless plug.
Charlie's seen Brighton earlier. So.
They're all in. We've got a full house.
We'll leave that one for there. Let's just get through. Let's settle down a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's touch on what got you started making rubs. Or where did the idea of making barbecue rubs come into play? When you mentioned that you were thinking maybe go to college and sort of chefery. Is that where it came from, or is it just did you go? Do you know what? I really, really enjoy barbecue food. Let's make a go at it.
Kind of a slightly different angle, if I'm being completely honest. So in a past life, one of the jobs that I worked was working for a wine company, and went through various accreditations in wine diplomas and things like that. So really kind of got into a niche kind of wine world, which when you're designing wine lists and stuff, you're matching foods with wine, which is is great. And I really kind of got a bit of that whole flavor matching, the profiling, kind of got a bit of a passion for it through that. Fast forward on sort of a few years later, it was really experimenting. I started getting into the low and slow barbecue myself, and you'd have mates come over and you cook up something and they'd be intrigued as to what it is you're using, and you try something and try a couple of spices, and you'd go on YouTube and you'd go and watch a couple of the guys on there and they're all talking about creating rubs. And I thought, well, I'll try and make a few. And I came up with a few signature different rubs that I just tried out on friends, and it was never going to go anywhere. It was never planned to become a business. But they kind of convinced me to roll it out, and they asked me to start building some and creating some for them, and could they take some home with them. So kind of started that way, and then they pass them on to friends, and it kind of developed organically from there, to be fair. So I can't say it was a planned route for me. I just kind of fell into it. But the whole barbecue world I've been in love with for years, and it's nice to try and forge a bit of a career out of the barbecue industry and turn a bit of a passion into something that hopefully one day might pay the bills. We'll see.
Oh, I'm sure
it's crossed.
The quality of your product, mate.
I mean, you've already said a 350% increase in sort of business from last year. So let's hope it does that again the year after. And who knows? You might be able to pack in the day job and just make rubs.
That's the plan. Well, I'll tell you what, we blended 600. I was working out earlier on 610 kilos of spices this year. We've hand blended into rubs, so if we do increase another 300%, I might be knocking on some doors to try and get some staffing, because it's a no mean feat for a husband and wife business to run, but good fun.
So you say it's a husband and wife team that do it. Does she come up with ideas for blending the sort of the rubs, or is it your brainchild and she just does all the hard work and you crack the whip? What goes on?
She's definitely got the whip.
Okay.
Let's not go into that now. It's not late enough yet. No, she's the brains and the practicality side of things behind the business. She does the finances, the marketing. When I come up with some funky products, she'll go out and research, is it financially viable when you start putting all the ingredients in the costing? So she does a lot of that. I'm the wacky scientist that throws a load of stuff together and come up with some of the ideas and actually physically do the blending. She's more the brains and the one that keeps everything sort of turning behind the scenes, really.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, there you go. So, your favourite rub? You've got to have a favorite of your babies. I mean, that's, well, can you ask someone to differentiate from all their products that they've created with their love? Can you really sort of say that was your favorite?
I got two, I think, if I had to narrow it down. One of them, because it took me a long time to kind of get right and to nail, and that's the hogwash, which is the pork focus one. Struggled for years or for a good 18 months trying to. That's the one. That's the bad boy.
Yes, she is.
Shameless bit of information. I think I've mentioned before, but the logo.
Go closer. Go close. Show him the pig, because I know where he's going with this.
Yeah. So the pig is actually a thumbprint. All the animals on my main core ones, even the core powder you've got in the background there is a thumbprint. And that was where we started with those. And that is actually my thumbprint that we had imposed onto a packet. And I got a designer to draw the little bit around it. So it's kind of my little...
That's wicked.
My thumbprint on it. Yeah. Something a bit different.
There's nothing wrong with sort of leaving your own personal stamp on stuff, in effect, isn't it?
I've kind of just opened myself up completely if I ever go into a life of crime, though, because basically my products are out there. And yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. But there you go.
Don't ever get one of those, sort of thumbprint and enter into your house thing. I'll just, I'll rock up with a core powder. Here we go.
Yeah. But no, the hogwash, the actual rub itself was it was a bit of a labour of love, because I wanted something completely different. There are a lot of quite, not what I call samey, but a lot of kind of rubs out there for pork that are kind of centred around the same flavour profiles. And I'm big on promoting UK business and growers and suppliers wherever possible. So all of the rubs that I produce, all of the herbs that go into them, wherever physically possible, I try and source them in the UK. So I created this base rub of your typical, your mustards, your onions, your garlics, your salts, your sugars, and all that kind of stuff. And I was looking for just something to elevate it to the next level. Did a lot of research into sort of historic and medieval eating. And back in the day, they used to use lovage a lot with pigs, and they used to create like lovage bombs and stuff inside apples, which would then go inside the mouth of the pig. And I kind of started exploring the whole lovage side of things and thought, you know what, let's give this a go, and blended some with one of the rub, and it just went. It was perfect. It completely offsets the flavor of the pork. It lifts the sweetness of the meat, but it also brings together some of the spice and the sugars and things in together. It's if I had to explain it, it's kind of a cross between a really intense parsley and celery type flavor. But when you mix that in, obviously, with all the other ingredients, it mellows out and gives this really nice kind of floral undertone without being too sassy.
It's good stuff.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Old school medieval barbecue there.
Pretty much, pretty much.
The guys from the States want to know whether they can get any of your rubs over there. Have you done international shipping yet?
I've just started the tail end of this week, so I've just had a consignment go out into New Zealand, and we've got Spain and Germany at the moment, so Europe predominantly. Give us a couple of weeks. I'm working on the American side of things, and I'll make sure you guys are aware, and you can share it with everybody online, and then we can get it out. So I'm trying to get it over the pond, guys. Trying to get it over there. It won't be long. Couple of weeks, hopefully.
Good news. Let's go back to Pickles' question earlier on. So his usual question is, how do you see barbecue developing in the UK? And do you see the differences between American barbecue and our barbecue styles?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I know it came up with Marcus a couple of weeks ago. You were talking about this. I'm a massive fan of Marcus and what he's doing down there in Country Wood Smoke, and he's, I think, single-handedly has kind of helped elevate barbecue or make it a cool thing in the UK. His books are really inspirational, and I can't wait for his next ones to come out as well.
That's going to be cool.
Some of the pictures he's putting up online at the moment is just ridiculous. I can't wait to get involved with that. But the whole UK I don't think there is a UK barbecue identity at the moment, and I think that's it's a bit of a problem and a bit of a shame here in the UK. We've adapted so many different cultural culinary influences from different areas. I think we're heavily influenced by Mexican spice at the moment, and we combine that with traditional American low and slow at the moment, and we kind of haven't got this identity of our own. So it's something that, I mean, I created that recently, you guys will probably be aware, a small community, a Facebook community, not to rival anybody, purely just to try and get some real honest feedback in the UK of what people want to see, what it is they're looking for, and almost trialing different concepts out with them to help try and create this identity in the UK and almost make us a standalone, because I think there's a huge opportunity for something to stick. I don't think we're quite there at the moment. If I was going to say anything, the one thing that I see a lot of at the moment, especially from doing the catering scene as well, a lot of open fire cooking. So your asado crosses and all the kind of the rig setups and things like that. So I think that's kind of where we're leaning to as a country in terms of barbecue, a lot of kind of live fire. But we've got a long way to go, and you know, the more that we can promote, the more shows like this can help raise the profile of UK barbecue, the more people that get involved and try and, you know, go on YouTube and watch videos and talk to some of the experts over the pond. You know, I'm hoping that the popularity grows and together we can try and create some kind of identity.
I mean, it's definitely coming on leaps and bounds. I mean, like you said, Marcus's Country Wood Smoke forum, you know, the Facebook is huge. And the amount of stuff that goes on there, people that post all of their different ideas and stuff, it's awesome. But, you know, it's like you say, we haven't got a defined, this is UK style. You know, we sort of take ideas from everywhere, don't we, really? And sort of just mix match as you see possible, as you see fit. I certainly do. Mine's all over the shop. I've got the curry guys book. I've just bought that. So making curries, not over flame still. Traditional sort of just lamb joints with real basic sort of cooking methods, and then you go in low and slow and ribs and, you know, beef, different. You know, we're just all over the shop. There's no this is us. But I think that works in our favour, really, because it's just a little bit more. We've got a little bit more variance, as it would be.
You can pick out what you like and take what you want from it. If you get what I'm saying, it's kind of and a lot of it also sort of trends a lot. If you look, sort of actually sit back and look at what's going on in Instagram and sort of like the Facebook groups and the UK YouTubers as well, they all sort of trend along together. If that makes sense, they all sort of seem to follow the same path, if you know what I mean. So that's quite an interesting thing to look at as well. Just over the summer and the cooking season that we have. Well, not that there is a season for most of the people in here anyway. We sort of cook all year round anyway. But generally, you'll see people kind of going out and doing like interesting little things with different stuff. Whereas sort of like your hardcore barbecuers will probably be more of your low and slow guys with your smokers going out in all weathers, firing it up and like cooking something all night or all day with some
definitely
all sorts of stuff. Did you see what Charlie put up? A Indian / Mexican fusion type rub for the UK. How does that sound? That sounds quite appealing to me, actually. Similar spice profile.
Quick, get your notepad out.
Yeah.
I got the pen just in case. All jokes aside, Matt, we laugh about that, but the whole chip dust side of things that we joked about on here, and you said you got to do it, mate. I'd been thinking about it for years, doing it, and thought, nah, there's never a market for this. It's never going to happen.
Fuck, it is.
Do you know what? Yeah, you convinced me to roll it out, and we rolled it out, and it's one of the best sellers at the moment. It really is, especially this time of year. It's so I literally am taking notes from everybody today. So yeah,
every time I chime in on when you post it up, it's make shit chips best. It needs to go on the front.
It's got to, isn't it?
It makes shit chips amazing. So now I've gone through so many bags of that stuff now. It's ridiculous. It's just like you go. Do you know? Funnily enough, it's going to sound really bad, but I'll chuck the chips, like oven chips, in an actor fry. So just like an air fryer, and I'll just fucking douse it. Literally just smothered in chip dust. And then, you dish them up, and once you've dished them up, you've got like a whole sort of tray full of the leftover bits of sort of chip dust, and then you just reuse it somewhere else. Stuff's amazing. Tastes so good. Love it.
Yeah.
In fact, I want chips with chip dust on it now.
There you go. Midnight snack.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I'm glad that you did release it, mate. It's one of those ones that I don't think there's many, if any, in the market, just for sort of potatoes, just to elevate. I mean, potatoes on their own, they're quite bland, boring. But with that, it's just like, wow, what is this I'm putting in my mouth? I love them. I can't rant more about it, that stuff. So, again, if you haven't tried that stuff, get on his website and buy it.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Good stuff. And then we've you blew my fucking mind with what's it called? The the test packet. You said fuck.
So
I was it won't be that bad. He's put like 5 exclamation marks on the front of the packet saying this shit's hot. Like really fucking hot. And I've gone, whew, okay, duck my finger in it, and my fucking face went numb. I was like, this is hot. What do I do? Where's the ice cream?
Yeah, you asked for it, so I delivered it. Naga chilies and everything, in they went.
It's fucking mega. Do you know what? I put someone, I can't remember what I put it on now, but I was like, hey, it'll probably cook off a little bit. Fuck, did it? It got worse.
Yeah.
It's just like, whoo.
Try cooking it, mate. Add a bit of heat to it, and it just intensifies the flavour. It's
crazy stuff, man.
There are quite a lot that I've only control on a select few people, and the amount of rubs I've literally been because they've just been either ridiculously hot or just ridiculously wrong.
Pretty hot, that stuff. Yeah. I mean, people that would like, to be fair, the people that like really hot food would love that, Rob. I'm not joking. It is tasty, but if you don't like feeling, if you like feeling your tongue, it's not for you. It's hot. I tried to make like a mayonnaise or something like that with it. I thought, do you know what? I'm going to make like a sort of a chili mayonnaise. And even the mayonnaise wouldn't cool it down. It was like, that's not too bad. And then I'm like, oh shit, yeah, it is. Back to the ice cream.
The children the next morning, hot. Daddy's on the toilet again.
Dad, you okay?
It burns. Yeah, kids, stick this toilet roll in the freezer.
Fun and games until someone loses an eye.
Loses something. Fucking hell. I thought my colon was on fire.
You're painting a beautiful picture there, Matt. Thanks for that.
Yeah, well, that's what we're all about on here. It's just painting lovely pictures. Pickles is saying sissy. Yeah. He just, what did he showed us something the other day that was something ridiculous on the Scoville scale. It's just like, it was mental. It's not even, I don't even think it's edible. It's some of the stuff where you get like over a couple of thousand Scoville. It's just like hot. It's just.
I remember he done a peanut challenge or something. I saw him do. Looked like his head was going to pop. He just sort of like started off. He started off red, and then he just got
worse and worse.
I was watching him, and I thought, is he going to be all right? It's literally. And then Kent done Daddy Dutch done a Chris challenge as well the other day. Some sort of super high powered heat Dorito.
Oh, what's one of like the little Dorito things? I've seen a couple of people do those, and they're crazy hot.
They're like in the millions of Scovilles. It's like super duper crazy hot.
I've seen that guy Catfish Cooley. He does the rounds on Facebook every now and then. He's done it like 3 or 4 times now. It's like put 3 of them in his gob in one hit, and then he's just pouring sweat by the end of it. Nuts. Some people can deal with heat a lot better than me. Pickles has just said it was the death nut challenge, and it was a bit too much.
It needs every bit of that, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really did.
Right, let's go back to some of the questions.
Yeah, definitely.
The names of your products. Some of them are, they're like hogwash, core powder, like, all of the different ones. Where'd you come up with the names from them? Because they're not like your standard sort of thing, are they? They're a little bit more.
Yeah.
In your face. Yeah.
Good. A little bit. Yeah. It's to be fair, I mean, when I constructed the first kind of core 4 rubs, as I call them now, it was about 5 years ago, and it was just coming up with witty names that were just a little bit different at the time. And looking at a lot of the ones that are over the pond, you got your butt rubs and things like that. And I like that quirkiness to it and the fun, because that's kind of what barbecue is all about. It's about being a bit fun, a bit quirky with what you do and trying new things and injecting a bit of fun into what you do. And I just kind of, I can't say I pulled them from any kind of great height. It was just one of those that we just dotted a load of ideas around and just came up with them really. And now as we go through and develop a product, we try and come up with names. They're probably getting less witty because a few of the rubs we've released recently have been quite bespoke, got like a Louisiana hot sauce in a rub form. We've got an IPA, for example, which you kind of can't get too sassy with those names. You kind of need to keep it quite descriptive because it's centered around one thing. But it's development, I suppose. I'm not the most creative when it comes to arty type things, so I must admit I do struggle with the packet designs and things like that. So I think that's definitely something I need to work on in the future to kind of as we grow and spread a little bit.
They're simple. I like them. I think the resealable packs make it a lot better than maybe say the shakers. The shakers, you may go. So, for example, I've got an absolute bucket ton of different rubs. Well, some of these rubs might go months without even being used. Well, yours, I can seal them back up, and I know that they're not going to, taint or go horrible because they're sealed. Some of the other, like the screw tops and the, they don't click down properly, and that's it. It gets some moisture in there. You go, do you know what? I'm going to use this, and go, dunk. No, I'm not.
Yeah, it's a good feature. It really is.
Yeah, it was one of those, and I've kind of toyed backwards and forwards for the last 2 or 3 years about going into the shaker world, and do we, don't we? I've got a lot of kind of pressure coming in from the diehard barbecue fans that say, well, there's no point creating a long-lasting rub because I use it in a couple of weeks and it's gone, So you're catering for those as well as the people that say, well, I have about 20 different rubs and I like to try a different one each week and they'll last me for a whole season. It's kind of getting the balance right. And I opted for the foil-lined craft-looking packets just because of the practicality in terms of the storage. And, technically, in theory, the rubs will last up to 3 years in the sealed packet because no light can get in. If you seal them tight, the oxygen doesn't get in. There's no degradation, all that kind of scientific crap. Which you wouldn't necessarily get from a shaker. So, but I'm looking at the idea of getting I'm just getting some quotes in at the moment to have metal shakers designed with our logos on it, which, again, Matt, take a bow, mate, take a bow. Just a permanent something that you can add your rubs into and go and sprinkle away on your butts or your ribs or whatever it may be, and then pop it back in when you're done with it and give it a swill out, and jobs are good and on to the next one.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
Get yourself some of the almost like the cappuccino chocolate shakers.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
just with it like stamped on the side.
Yeah,
job done.
Yeah. So we're working on that as we speak.
Father's Day's just relatively round the corner. Get it out for that, mate. That's not that far away.
Christmas is coming.
Yeah.
Christmas well, if you can get them out for Christmas, sling them out.
I don't think they're going to be ready for Christmas, are they?
We've got a few kind of tricks up our sleeve for Christmas this year. We got some products, and this is the first year we've really dabbled in Christmas, and it's the first year we've been able to as well. I think that the popularity's grown so much this year that we thought, do you know what, the base is there now. Let's really give it a whack. And we did Father's Day last year, and we did sort of hampers and boxes and stuff, and they went really, really well. So without giving away too many secrets, because the product's not released yet, we're doing something similar but sexier. We're going
is
into
it red?
No.
Oh, it's not red.
It's not red. So
or black or shiny, Matt. So you're out of luck.
It might, yeah. Watch on that one. But some great gift ideas, and it'll work. Something that we think will work well with those that are hardcore barbecue fans. They'll appreciate it, as well as the father who you never know what to buy for. Go and grab him one of these, shall we say? And,
nice.
But watch this space on that one. Check out all of our social media. But we're going into the brining world now. There's a lot of pressure to kind of look into the brining side of things. I know it's growing in popularity over here. I've cooked my turkeys on the barbecue for the last 3 or 4 years, and brining's a massive part of that process for me. So we're creating a brine and a rub in one with the bag and everything. So a kit that's ready to go for Christmas Day for everybody.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's something that people have been asking for a while. Brines and injections are starting to pick up pace a little bit now, so I think they'll feature quite heavily in the next.
We've talked about this just offline, and we've talked about the whole turkey thing. I've never cooked a turkey on the barbecue, and I think it'd be a great idea, considering how my chickens come off the barbecue, and turkeys tend to go quite dry. My chickens come out like they've been soaked. So I'm kind of looking forward to cooking a turkey and seeing what comes out like, and especially brining it and doing all the other bits, see what it really comes out like. It's going to be good.
Yeah, some big science behind it as well, to be fair, in terms of you look at the process of brining and what it does. What you're doing effectively, you're soaking it in the salt. The salt, which is sodium chloride, reacts with the muscle fibers. 75% of a hunk of meat is water. What it does, it alters the proteins to hold that water and that fluid and that moisture in. So it looks pretty, it tastes great, but there's some science behind it which really makes it work. And you've got to be really careful with the turkey, because they're such a lean bird that you can really kind of overcook them if you're not careful. And again, Marcus mentioned the other day about hitting the temperatures higher. Aim for your 275s, 300s on your turkeys when you're smoking them, and try not to dry them out. Give them a good old brine beforehand.
Yeah,
there you go.
Well, I'm going to be rotisserie on the old rotisserie, mate. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, good man.
Rotating it.
Yeah, it's a bit of spinning it, you could say.
You've got your bird spinning around on a pole again. Fuck's sake, Brian, come on.
It only took 35 minutes and we're down that road already.
We are. I'm surprised, mate. It's normally within the first couple of minutes. I've been holding it back. I don't know. We've been talking about whips and stuff, so.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I think that was about 10 minutes in. So
we're holding our own. This is a semi-serious, quite cool interview so far. We're doing well, I think.
Semi-serious. Have I got to amp it up a little bit anyway?
We've not slipped down that road yet. That's all I'm saying. We're doing very well, I think, this week.
Not quite. Sauces. How many sauces have you got in your lineup now?
So we've got 4 sauces at the moment. A traditional Louisiana style hot sauce with a 12-month fermented cayenne pepper that we ferment in virgin oak, what we call virgin oak, some little barrels that I've got made up, which is I love hot sauce, so I just wanted to do it. There's no reason to it other than that I wanted to do it, and it's a really nice little hot sauce, and it's proved a really good seller for us. So I kind of kept that one on. But in terms of traditional sauces, looking at your barbecue sauces, kind of went with flavors that I like and my family like and my friends like. And we've got a Kansas City sweet heat style, slightly tomato-y, but a little bit of kick in there. We've got a quite heavily bourboned honey barbecue sauce as well, which is thicker, great as a glaze, really sticky, sort of unctuous type sauce, which I love it with beef and dipping in a bit of beef rib or whatever it is that you've cooked up, or a brisket. And then we've gone a little bit left field with an Alabama white sauce, and there is no other reason than I absolutely adore the flavors of it. Introduced to it a couple of years ago. It's a mayo base with cider vinegar, horseradish, a whole myriad of garlics and different peppers, and just amazing with pretty much everything. I again use it with beef. I love chicken wings or chicken lollipops that are dipped in it and sort of finished for a couple of minutes afterwards. So 4 very different types of sauces. They're a staple of what we do at the moment. I've kind of been doing them since day dot, and hopefully we'll look into the sauces a little bit more next year if we get 2 minutes to breathe. But yeah, a very different sort of range.
No, I'll be keen to try that Alabama sauce. I'll have to get some on order.
Yeah, I'll ping some down, right? Sure. Yeah.
It's a bit. It's not really a heard of thing in the UK, is it? The white sauce, Alabama white sauce. It's, you know, without being in barbecue, you'd be like, what is it? I mean, we've already answered that. You know, all the ingredients that go into it. Again, I haven't eaten, or I haven't tried it, so it's, you know, it'll be something that I will try. But yeah, it's just not really heard of in the UK. So something different, really good.
I'll be intrigued to see what the guys over in America, whether they're sort of kind of up with it, because it's obviously from a small region. It's, you know, it was produced, if memory serves me right, by a chap called Big Bob Gibson, and it was kind of his restaurant that started it, and he started creating it, and it's branched out. But I don't know how big it is over in the States either, to be fair. I don't think it's huge. Again, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just something very different, and it's a completely different take on a sauce as well, which really kind of livens things up a little bit.
Pickle says that it's really good and oddly underrated. So
yeah, I'd agree with that.
States, so. Yeah. Unusual here too, as well as what he said. So.
Ray Shan had do you remember he sent that he come on, he'd done a cookbook and it had the Alabama white sauce in it. He'd done some stuff with the Alabama white sauce. Yeah, no, that was some good stuff. Yeah, it's really
would you say all your sauces pair up nicely with all the rubs? I should imagine they would do. That's the idea of it.
Yeah, they've been created to kind of pair nicely with it, and also act as kind of standalone sauces as well. The Kansas City Sweet Heat was definitely created for some of our more punchier rubs, like our core powder, for example. The sweetness in the sauce kind of helps offset some of the heat from the rub. Some of the kind of the tomato tones. With a salty rub, you really pick up those tones when you use a sauce of that kind of nature with it, because salt helps elevate the tomato flavors and those lesser flavors. So yeah, there's a bit of thought that's gone in behind the scenes, a little bit of thought that's gone in there. But yeah, they do all pair. And you know, one thing I love doing is kind of experimenting a little bit. And Matt, you said that you take your mayonnaise and you've tried chucking some rubs in there in the past. Do exactly the same. I've got a cherry cola rub on the market, which is proved really popular this year, and it's a real sickly sweet, sticky with a little bit of heat to it. But if you bang that in some barbecue sauce, doesn't have to be ours, but any barbecue sauce, a couple of tablespoons of that, heat it through, and it just turns into this really thick, sticky glaze. So I'm a big fan of using rubs in the actual barbecue sauces themselves as well.
When I opened the cherry cola stuff, I was like, oh, this is nice. I opened it and I went, poof, in your face. I was like that. I can't breathe. Yeah. It's very fine, isn't it? It just sort of it clouds up really easy, and it all went down my throat, down the back, down my nose. I was like sneezing like cola bottles.
Yeah, it is. It's a really fine powder, and that we kind of had to go really fine with the type of sugars that we use in it, purely because we wanted it to create this real sticky, slick layer when it was cooked. Yeah. The only way to do that is if you have a really fine blend of sugar. We've used some powder sugar in there as well, which is the stuff that gets right up your nose and tickles the back of your nostrils. That's the one, yeah. It's good stuff, though. Yeah, I've got to put on a bloody gas mask whenever I make that stuff. I tell you, it literally crying where it's such a fine mist that descends everywhere. But good though, it is good.
It was nearly one of those ones you open it and you go, "Oh shit, just dropped it." Just coughing. It's like, yeah. Thankfully, I didn't. It was seal it back up, and no, it's good. I certainly like it. Tastes good. I mixed it. I thought, I'm going to mix some in some water and taste it just to sort of blend it up. So it was like more of like a sort of a glaze, and it was still fantastic like that. Good. But I never thought about putting it in some barbecue sauce. So I'm going to give that a try. That'll be good.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, definitely. What have we got on the list left? Loads still. Ryan, you want to ask some questions?
Yeah, I step up and give it a go. So, your catering, you do. I've had a bit of a mooch around your website and you know what I mean, just a little bit of a ferret around. So what is a typical sort of event you cater for, or is it a corporate thing, or weddings, or is it anybody? And if so, what would you say would be your signature dish for your catering events? I know it's quite a big convoluted question, but we've got all the time in the world, so
yeah, let's go for it. Catering was a natural progression for me. It was, I want barbecue to be my career, full stop. That's something that I'm kind of striving to get towards, and we're not quite there yet to be able to kind of jack in the Monday to Friday 9 to 5 and make this a full-time role. So catering was a massive step for us, and we started this a few years ago, and it was a gazebo setup with 6 Weber Smoky Mountains, the large Smoky Mountains that we used, and we focused predominantly on low and slow style barbecue. So your pulled porks, your briskets, your ribs, they were kind of the 3 staples that we started with. Yeah. We did a couple of festivals, which are great from a money spinning point of view and from a revenue generation. I'm a little bit risk adverse. I know you've got to take gambles in life, but the UK weather is as unpredictable. Exactly, yeah, is what comes out of Boris Johnson's face. So it's really hard to kind of plan and get that whole side of things right. As a small business, there's a lot of outlay. So a lot of the events that you go to now, they're wanting £400-500 a day just for your fee. They're wanting 20% of your profit on top. And that's before you even, start looking at core ingredients. And you can't half-arse barbecue. You can't get second-rate products. And, if you run out of your stuff, you can't run down to Tesco's and go and pick up something and stick it on and hope for the best. So you have to buy everything up front. And we had a couple of rained events, which literally just wiped everything out. And for us, it was a massive learning curve. And we thought, you know what, this probably isn't the way forward for us going into the events. I thought it was, but it wasn't. So the majority of the gigs that we do now are corporate gigs, a lot of corporate business. Weddings is a massive part of what we do. Everybody seems to be getting into festival, or did prior to this year, getting into festival weddings, and barbecue kind of goes hand in hand with that approach. So yeah, we kind of focus on the corporate, the weddings, and private parties now, to be fair. We invested last year in a vintage horse box that we've converted into a kitchen. So the whole of the front of the sides of one of the sides open up, and we've got the back that comes down, and all the smokers sit out on the back, and it's quite a theatrical thing. It's brilliant. Awesome. Unfortunately, COVID has completely written off this year.
Yeah, it's everyone, isn't it? Unfortunately, it's a thing.
Nice steaming shit on everybody.
Literally.
There's no better. There's no way better, nicer way of describing it. It's just well, it's fucked everyone this year.
Extremely well put. Cheers.
Well, you know,
yeah.
Well, there's no beating around the bush. It's just, I'm trying not to use the F-bomb.
But it is.
It's not
proper,
like you.
Yeah, proper shit. And
not like me at all, no.
We've had to write this year, and we're almost looking at writing a large proportion of next year off. And the thing is, we run about 12 months in advance, so we're booked up 12 months in advance. So all of this year was booked for previous year. So we're basically delaying our business, the catering side of things. And unfortunately, because you're a mobile caterer, you don't have taxable, rateable premises. You're not entitled to the government grants and supports and things like that. So that's a whole conversation for another day, the support side of things. But yeah, I mean, it's not, like I say, it's not the thing that pays our mortgage every day. So that pressure's not on. Everything that we've done, we've bought ourselves without bank loans and things like that. So there's no pressure on us as an organization, as a small business to focus. So we're literally just rolling with the punches at the moment and going with the flow, to be fair.
It's not a bad position to be in then, by the sounds of things.
No, absolutely.
But you mentioned signature dishes and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're kind of in the local area. We're based in Shropshire, in Shrewsbury, and I'm originally from Matt's Way. I'm a Bristol boy, born and bred, and grew up. All my family lives down there. But we've become known for pulled pork recently. So I'd say that's our kind of go-to. A lot of that is probably down to the rubs that we use. And also the smokers that we're using at the moment as well. Because our catering smoker that we use, we've got a massive, a big 350 kilo Old Hickory CTO, which is a tri-fuel thing. Stands about 5.5 foot tall, 3 foot wide. Got about 5 racks on there, 5 or 6 racks that come out. So you can probably get about 20 briskets in there at any one time. Probably in excess of 25, 30 pork butts at any one time. And what's great about that smoker is it's got built-in regulators, so you can set the fire and you can plug it in, and all the fans kick in and they generate, like I know you guys are fans of your pit bosses, flame bosses, and all that kind of stuff that keep your pit temps. So it's a really good piece of kit for that, and the flavours we get off that are just immense.
I like to use mine. Ryan doesn't use one, but I've had varying success with mine and varying failures.
I have got a PID. I made my own, but rarely use it.
I thought about that, but I was lazy. I thought, that looks really good. I thought, I could get behind one of those. I could do that. And I just went, it's just too much effort. I'm just going to buy one.
Well, I suppose it all depends what sort of game you're in. They are really easy to do. They're not difficult. You buy everything you need for like 30 quid, and it's exactly what you're buying, except you make it yourself. You just got to know your components, and away you go.
Exactly. Chuck it in a lunchbox, close the lid up, and just have the fan attached to it. Yeah, I've seen and thought about it. I'm lazy.
Yeah. Ditto. I'm the same. No chance. If I can go and buy something that does the trick for me, then I'll go and do that. I'm a bit risk adverse, and I'm not very forthcoming when it comes to engineering. Yeah. So
I'm a bit of a tinkerer, to be honest. I don't mind doing all that sort of malarkey, but then it's kind of my job anyway. So it's just.
Cider wants to know what festivals you did.
So we were at the first ever, where it kind of started off. We were at the first ever Mould and Smoke and Fire. I know a couple of the guys were there, and I don't know if Cider was there or not. I know there were a couple of his mates, and Marcus was there, and a few others. So we've done a couple there. We've done 3 county show in our area. We've done the Shrewsbury Food Festival's another big one. Again, it's one of the barbecue competitions as well. So we did sort of a couple of local ones up here, and then one over in Malden, and nice. Yeah, it was at that point that we kind of said we'll kind of stray away from the festivals, and if we do any festivals now, we tend to take our rubs and do the rub stands rather than the catering side of things.
No, fair enough.
Yeah,
definitely.
Have you ventured into sort of like the asado sort of cooking type of style? That quite interests me, if I'm totally honest. If I had the room, I'd give that a go.
Yeah, we've got a couple of asado crosses that we use for weddings. They're a great theatre, and what's better at someone's wedding than having a couple of whole lambs or a couple of whole pigs, literally, bubbling away over a fire. We don't use it as much as we probably should, and I'm ashamed to say I don't use it much in personal cooking purely because I haven't got the garden capacity for it. To be fair, so we tend to kind of exercise that more when we're out and about at weddings and things like that. But it touches on that whole live fire again, doesn't it? Wood fire, away you go. And, you can't tone it up or tone it down with air vents. You've got to, use proper pit intuition and fire management and, positioning of the crosses and things like that. But it's something I want to try and get into more over the next couple of years. And I'd love to kind of take the catering business down a road where we're doing just that live fire side of things, because it's fascinating and it's fun as well. It keeps you interested when you're doing a lot of it over a weekend, for example.
Yeah,
I reckon that's going to have to be like the barbecue talks tour. And when we go and visit, I reckon we should hook up a pig to asado and just have a couple of beers and film it.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Maybe a lamb, a pig would be an epic thing.
A pig would be fine.
Be like
a suckling pig on it.
They're big old beasties to cook on an asado. A lamb would be easy. A pig.
What, a suckling pig? They're not big.
Well, they're still 60 kilos.
Really?
Yeah.
We use them on. I mean, they're not that bad. I mean, you've obviously got to get your right size, and that's when your butcher comes into it. Get him to get the right size for you. But yeah, the lambs are probably about the right size for the cross. So yeah.
I was just thinking of the rendering and all of that. If you're not switched on with that after a few beers, you're in all sorts of trouble, I should imagine.
I saw a video on Facebook came up on my feed the other day. Bloke was he's filming the way, and he's built like it's almost like an asado cross, but he's mounted this lamb to what looks like a crucifix, to be honest. It's mounted in the floor, and then he's put a barrel over the top of it. Built up the logs around the outside, and then it cuts. And he comes back. He lifts up the fucking drum, and it's just this head, and the rest of it's just black and fucking on the floor. He's just overcooked it, and he just goes, "Ah, shit." People don't put those up. Those are the ones that people should put up more. It's just like, yeah, this did not go to plan. I fucked this one.
Let's be honest, we all do it, don't we? We all mess up. Even now, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it, you mess up and you still kick yourself. But I think as you get a bit more kind of intrinsically ingrained in the whole barbecue world, you kind of feel a bit ashamed and don't want to do it. But I'd love to see some more YouTube videos up of people cocking up, and getting things wrong. Because like I say, Matt, we know you've done it with your Flame Boss or whatever it was, hitting the temps up at the ridiculous red hot rates. I've done it. I've gone out and set up a Smoky Mountain going, and I've got the fire going and forgot to open the top vent, so it completely died a death. And you go out and it's still basically mooing at you or whatever. Yeah, we've all done it.
The day I opened the portal to hell with my fucking drum. Jesus Christ, that was bad.
The eyebrows are growing back well though.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
he still doesn't need to shave though.
No, there we go again. I'm going to blame the heat burnt all of my hair follicles.
I was going to have a shave, but I thought, no, I better not. Let's rub it in a little bit more.
Just show Matt how it should be rather than what it could.
It's all right. Like I said before, I just get out of bed and go to work. You guys have to pamper yourselves. See, no qualms here. So, I think we are pretty much there. Yeah, big. Go on.
I saw it as competition cooking.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about that? Well,
yeah, so I dabbled with it a few years ago, and it was more helping out people rather than actually doing it on my own. And
okay.
For anybody that ever wants to get into it, I recommend going and helping out a team first, or get in contact with a couple of the guys that are doing the circuits. They're always willing for people to man the fires overnight, or to help trim the meat, or keep on top of the rubs and things like that. And I kind of did it with a couple of friends to begin with, and it's an intense world. It's a really intense world, and I know we've had a couple of guests on that have said exactly the same. It's a very full on, and the type of barbecue you create in competition barbecue is not the barbecue that you or me are used to at home, and what we do on a weekly basis. It's very high pressured, and the cost involved in it is massive. So I did a helping out for a couple of years, and kind of thought, well, let's give it a go. And now I've got the rubs. Why not showcase it and push some of the things that we did? So I was hoping to kick off proper competition barbecue, and we had it all lined up for this year. But again, COVID kind of put a hamper on that. So I'm hoping maybe next year, into the year after, we might have a Rusty Barbecue competition team going. But I'm not going to get. I haven't got the time, but B, I haven't got the patience, I don't think, to kind of enter the circuit properly and give it the time and dedication that's needed.
That's cool.
No, that's fair.
Yeah,
but it's a good world. It's a good world. There's some absolute nutters out there doing it, and on a couple of occasions that I have helped out, you get absolutely plastered. You're up most of the night, and the social side of it is brilliant, but the actual pressure of it is pretty intense. So it's not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah. Well, if you ever want a hand trimming anything, I'll happily come along and trim and load the fire up. I've always fancied having a look at that, even if it was just to sort of like document what was going on. Really, I've seen a load of people film stuff and document it over the US. It might be nice to have a UK version or a UK perspective. So yeah, if you
absolutely,
I'll come and film you and follow you and trim your bits and obviously fondle your meat and look after it nicely.
Anytime, Ryan. Anytime, mate. You can fondle my meat anytime, buddy. And there we go.
Yeah, there we go. Off we go. So
you're gonna buy it dry for him as well.
Give it a good rub down. He's got all the gear to do it. So.
Oh dear, where are we? We're 58 minutes and this section innuendos are out. Fucking hell.
Hey, well, it's about time. We've been holding off long enough. That's all I can say. Well, so we've got the last two standard questions. Biggest blooper. What's your biggest cooking disaster, if any? What have you had? How's that all?
Oh, mate, there's too many to say. I tell you what, I've really created some absolute clangers across my time, and I think the first ever time I did a wedding was pretty full on, and I just completely mistimed everything and actually forgot to put the ribs in the smoker, which is never a good sign when it's one of the signatures. So yeah, you can imagine that went down like a lead balloon. I think I ended up paying back more than I made on that one. But no, I think the biggest blooper today, and the wife still laughs at me about it, is I like most people, when you're firing up the coals, I always use a chimney starter, but I got two. And I've figured that if you stack one on top of the other, it creates a massive vortex and cuts the time down to heat the coal. So I thought, winner, we're onto this. 3 or 4 times, perfect. 8 or 9 minutes, the coals are white hot, ready to go on, perfect. Did it one day. It was slightly windy. Sat it on top of the master touch. One on top of the other. It was a little bit wobbly, but I thought, you know what, we might get away with this. Let's just position it and run, walk away very carefully. Anyway, I literally turned my back and I heard this crash. And I looked around, and over the decking in my garden was a chimney full of hot coals. So, of course, up the bloody thing goes. Out comes the hose pipe. I've got all my pride and joys, the Kamado Joe and Weber and everything there. And, So I think that's my biggest clanger today, is literally dropping a sodding great thing of coals all over untreated wooden decking.
Needless to say, I don't think you use that method to light your coals anymore. Then
not anymore.
I'm not surprised.
No, not
very,
anymore.
very impressive indeed. That's a high five.
Yeah. I mean, I've dropped the occasional sort of chunk of charcoal on the decking and gone, "What's that smell? Oh fuck!" And then just like sort of kicked it or something off the decking, and you've left like a little sort of battle scar on the decking. But
have you done the flip bomb and drop a coal on the open toe yet?
No, not yet. See, I've actually I have a pair of slippers that have more charcoal embedded into the soles of them than they have sole now. Where I've been out there cooking, like sort of just run out and gone, I need to go and do whatever. I've run out and then gone, moved something, or they've like hot coals have fallen out the bottom of the kettle, and then I've gone, oh shit, and I've just scraped it with the bottom of my slipper and flicked it off the decking. Well, it's not actually got off the decking, it's just sort of melted into the plastic of my slipper and then just stayed there. So yeah, I walk along scuffing my feet and I leave black marks now on my slippers. Should really get some new ones. They've got some mega holes in there now. Look, it seems like everybody's on the F-bomb. Every time I swear now, the people are just putting F-bomb in the chat. It's going to make me paranoid.
Don't worry about it. I'll get some C-bombs. I'll get some C-bombs on later on.
No, we can't use those ones.
All right, so we've got a question from Mike. Who or what is your biggest influence? I presume that's in barbecue or in general, Mike. I presume it must be a barbecue question.
Yeah.
Wow. There's one guy that stands out who kind of really kick-started the passion for me. And I know we all kind of use YouTube as a massive platform for kind of checking out what to do and how to do things. And one of these days I was looking and I wanted to figure out how to trim a brisket properly. And, I'd had a look at the Aaron Franklin videos and some of the stuff that he'd done. Brilliant guy, hugely influential the way that he's created his business. But for me, I really fell in love with the work that Malcolm Reed was doing, how to barbecue right. And I just got addicted to the stuff that he does. And the amount of hours I would sit there, writing down ideas and watching videos and, doing the research and then going and trying it. And shit, that didn't work. I need to go back and watch it again. And his kind of videos and what he's doing really helped, I suppose, elevate my own personal barbecue game to another level. And I would probably say he's probably one of the most influential figures that I kind of look up to in the barbecue world, purely because he kind of unknowingly was my kind of mentor in the early days when I was trying to figure out what was what.
Yeah, fair play. I'm much the same as you, to be honest. Malcolm Reed, Meathead. Yeah, they're sort of like the big two that stand out in front of you, really.
Barbecue Pit Boys.
Yeah,
Barbecue Pit Boys, yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Louisiana Cajun? I'm trying to think, Louisiana Cajun recipes or something like that. A very broad chap over there, and he loves his Weber Smoky Mountain, and he's should we just say very in your face, very interesting to watch as well. He's another good one to check out.
No, not seen that, but I will do. I'll find it and have a look. I love what I can see. Like, you fall down a rabbit hole, don't you? Once you start watching YouTube, it's almost like, oh yeah, that video, and then that video, and then you start watching something about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my missus goes mad. She's like, 2:00 in the morning, I've been sat there watching these videos. Sometimes we turn that bloody light off. It's like, I didn't realise the time, 3 or 4 hours have just gone and you've just immersed yourself in one video or another. But it's what's great to see at the moment is some of the UK YouTube stuff coming on. And you know what, I had a little play and I dabbled with a couple of videos, and my God, it's hard work. So anybody that does the YouTube stuff, either this side of the pond or over in America, fair play to you. It's, it really is. It really does take a lot of time and effort. So
it's not easy. I certainly, I tried and didn't. I don't really enjoy doing it very much. This is much more my scene. I kind of like just sitting and talking and swearing by the looks of it far too much.
I don't, but I'll be honest. I enjoy making YouTube videos. I enjoy doing this and the podcast and everything else, and building the community of what we're doing. You know, it's fantastic. It's a good place to be. It's all good fun. You meet some really interesting people as well, which is quite cool. One thing I can do is talk a lot. Not so much tonight, but
and make a mean cocktail as well, by all accounts.
Oh, what? Sorry.
Make a mean cocktail as well, by all accounts.
Yeah. You should see some of the outtakes of them videos. It's like
you get the gist of whether the cocktail was nice by the end of his video, because at the beginning he's sober and he's talking normally, and then by the end it's like, and this is a very good one, because he's had to make a few more.
I've got a rib video coming out probably. Well, it's either going to be tomorrow or Thursday. I done it the same time as I done a Blue Arrow cocktail, which is like a 3 or 4 part gin cocktail and other stuff. It's like a really potent cocktail. Oh man, it was a laboured end. That's all I'm going to say. As I say, the outtakes on that are going to be immense. I haven't even watched it back yet. I started to edit it when I'd done the cocktail video, and I thought, you were shit-faced, but you can just see it. By the end of the video, you're like, I can't put that up. That's why I haven't done it. I was like, oh man, not again.
Do it right. Get it up, mate. Get the outtakes up there and everything. I'll tell you what.
Get the same gear on that you were wearing, and then just record like at the beginning. You know, this video was shot under the influence of a Blue Arrow cocktail. If you want to check out how to get shit-faced really well before you cook ribs, go and check this video out. And then just go straight into it. Slurring your words, chucking ribs around.
Yeah. It's going to be a long edit, that one, once I get stuck into it. I know that. And that's not my favourite pastime either.
No,
but
right then, last of the old classics. We ask everybody the same: top 3 music albums or artists, if you want to go that way.
Oh, I have such an eclectic music taste. I'm a massive West End fan, so we like the musicals. Me and the wife going down to London, or did, and massively into that. So influences around that. You look at your Freddie Mercury's and back in those days. But I think for me, kind of the music that kind of defined my growing up and my kind of stepping from a child boy into man boy, I suppose, is probably the only way to describe it.
Man child.
I like a bit of beat, and Linkin Park for me were just epic when I was growing up. And
nice.
I did shed a little tear when the lead singer passed away way before his time. Chester was a phenomenal singer, and some of the music they do and the collaborations they do is phenomenal. So that's got to be up there, I reckon, is probably one of my greatest artists. And Hybrid Theory, their album is just out of this world. It's my running music at the moment. And sorry to drop the R-bomb, but out there when I'm trying to sort of put some pedals down, pound the pavements a little bit and run off some of the ribs is something that just keeps me going. His music just kind of pushes me through. Yeah, so that album's definitely one. The Killers as well. I love the Killers. Massive fan. Me and the wife used to, when we were first seeing each other, used to dance like idiots to some of their music and Mr. Brightside and some of the old classics.
Mr. Brightside, I was going to say. Yeah, it's the only one you dance to as an idiot. It's Mr. Brightside, fucking jumping around all over the place.
Exactly. So Hot Fuss that was from, and that's definitely up there, I think, with one of the albums. And we were supposed to go and see them this year, but it was cancelled, obviously, because of COVID. So it's rolling over to next year. So looking forward to that, really am. And I got to pull it right. Red Hot Chili Peppers, again, iconic when I was growing up. It's really hard. There's so many different artists and albums to choose from. I think those three probably I've chosen those because they define me and they helped me in my growing period. And I've had a number of challenges in my life, shall we say, and they've kind of helped me through some pretty dark places and kind of lift me back up again. And that's what I think great music does. You know, it kind of it becomes part of your life and it becomes ingrained in what you do, and it helps you get through certain circumstances that you may not want to find.
Certainly grounds you, doesn't it? Music.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can't deal without music. I'm one of those ones that I've just got to listen. I listen to everything, anything and everything. I'll listen to, and yeah, just very similar. Music is like part of your soul in a way. You know, you can certainly change your mood instantly by putting on a different piece of music or whatever. Just Which Chili's album are we going to say is the your favorite one then?
It's got to be Californication. I think it's got to be the classic. They're all great. I just that one for me is probably the one.
Can't beat the Chili. To be fair, they are good.
Yeah, it's probably the one. Yeah, one of the ones that kind of defines.
Have you ever seen them live? I've seen them a couple of times live. I saw them once at Hyde Park with James Brown was supporting them. That was a few years ago.
No way.
Wow.
And I went to see them at the O2 as well. You know when they changed their guitarist? He left for a little while, and it had this brand new guitarist at the O2, and it was a bad gig. The sound was awful, but obviously the songs were great. But yeah, what was that album? Yeah, you know the one with a pill on the fly on. It was that album. They changed the guitarist for that album.
It'll come to me in a minute.
It was. Oh, I can't even. It was that they paid a ton of money for this artist to do it. Like it was like this little red and white pill with a fly on the top of it. They paid him an absolute bomb to take this picture. And it's like, what's all that about? You know? But it was it was a cool gig, but you know, it's just a shame they got this new guitarist in, and
I'm with you.
I'm with you. It would be.
It is. I'm looking at it.
How long ago? How long ago was that? I bet that's got to be like 10 years. I bet it's 10 years ago.
Very close.
More or less?
No, it's less. 2011.
Feels like yesterday.
It was that bad.
No, just time flies, doesn't it? You know, time flies.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, certainly does.
Cool.
Right.
Can I just one last thing, just quickly? I kind of toyed with the idea of throwing some stuff out on the Instagram feeds recently, and I've been doing a whole series for the last sort of couple of months where I've been uploading a bit of the science about the whole barbecue rub creation and what goes into the development. Go and check it out if you want to learn more about how we create our rubs. It isn't as simple as just throwing a couple of spoonfuls of paprika, sugar, and salt together and hoping for the best. There's a whole myriad of science that goes in behind the scenes. So if you want to learn a little bit more about it, head over to the Instagram and just check out some of they're only short little clips, but it's a little insight into kind of some of the science that goes into creating our new rubs and what the process we go through as a business to create them.
Absolutely. What is the Instagram handle so that people can find you, mate?
Cool. It's at the Rusty BBQ Co. All one word.
Any others you want to plug? Website, things like that? Facebook group? Come on, plug away. Now's your time.
Guys, you know where I am. Give me a shout if you ever want to know anything about rubs. If you want to, talk, give us a shout at any point. I'm not going to plug ourselves. We're doing
that's what it's here for. Come on, plug away.
That's what you're here. This is your time to shine. Tell everybody about what's going on, all of your social media handles, everything you've been up to. While we're on the subject, I'd like to thank you for contributing to our website and posting stuff up on that, because that's been really cool and interesting to read, though. So
every order gets one of these now, so all of the orders that are going to be going out, we're going to promote the show a bit more as well, and see if we can get some more kind of some live listeners in through the door if we can.
The support you've given us has been amazing. Thank you so much, Russ. I really mean that. You've been here since the beginning, and we value that a lot. So as time moves on, hopefully, well, we're all going to grow together. So rising
that way probably.
I'm on decline at the minute. I'm 2.5. Well, nearly 2.5 stone down now, thanks to me old keto. So
looking good, mate. Looking good. Good on you.
I don't know about that. I'm back on the cider tonight. I've had a week break. This sounds really ridiculous. There's only so much bacon and eggs you can eat, and I'm just going to leave it there.
Yeah. I can fully get behind that. I mean, repeating food constantly just is not fun.
Yeah.
But when you get the results that you've got from it, it's kind of worth it.
Yeah, definitely. So back on it next week, but keto holiday this week.
Nice. Got to go back through the whole ketosis thing again, and the headaches and all that shit.
Is that a thing? The headaches and that is that a very real? I've heard the stories about it, and I've never done it myself, so I don't know what it's like. But
I found it really difficult. If I'm honest, it's like, well, but it should be. It might be better second time around. I don't know. Hopefully,
fuck. You know what's coming. There's another F-bomb for you, Mike. You know what's coming. So you're going to be there. You're going to be like, oh, here we go, day 4. Fuck, wake up and be like, oh, I feel like shit. Where's the carbs? Give me the carbs.
I'm fully tooled up and ready to go.
Don't buckle under the pressure, buddy. You've done so well so far, so just keep it up.
Yeah, well done.
Plow on through those headaches.
Yeah.
Right. Are you going to stick around for the pub club, Russ? For a bit?
I've got a couple of butts going on tomorrow. I need to be up at 4:30 to throw those bad boys on. So,
even if you stay in for 10, 15 minutes, just see if anyone wants to jump in and ask you questions, then that'd be good.
Definitely. I'm here.
All right.
I'm here.
Well, let's wrap the show up then. So, thank you, Russ, for coming on or finally coming on, let's say. It's been great to have you on. We've been talking about it for, what seems like an eternity, finally getting you on and, getting some insight behind the company and the rubs. So, that's it for this week. Remember that we are live. We are now on all the podcasts. Oh, my word. Well, that was terrible. Should we start again?
I'll take
throw the C-bomb in there. Go on. Let's just throw it in there.
That's a good thing that this bit here gets cut. Yeah, and I just put in a pre-made bit that doesn't sound like I fall over all my words. But I'm going to try again just for the sake of it. So that's it for this week. Please remember, if you're watching live, to stick around for the pub club. Thank you again for tuning into the Barbecue Talk Show. Remember, we're available on podcast form. So if you miss us live, you can catch us up that way. We're available on all podcast platforms. Please check out our Facebook page. Give us a like. We also have a group at Barbecue Talk Show. Go check that out. Share your recipes, your videos, your pictures, and your general chit chat. If you have an interest in becoming a guest on our show, email guest@bbqtalks.com. Our handles on most platforms are at Barbecue Talk Show. Check out my Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Smoking Q's. And then this is where I normally fall over. Check out Ryan's Instagram, Ryan_G's_barbecue.stuff. And check out his YouTube, Ryan G's Barbecue and Stuff. And that is that. So we have about a 2-minute break. Go and empty your bladders or answer the door, whatever you want to call it. And we shall see you in about 2 minutes' time.